Joining me now here in the studio, Suzanne Craig, investigative reporter for the New York Times, and Christy Greenberg, former federal prosecutor and an MSNBC legal analyst. Both have been in the courthouse this week, as I thank you both for being here. Sue, you sat through some cringeworthy sound bites there. No, I'm sorry, that was from Dasha's report. Some cringeworthy moments this week with Stormy Daniels in the courtroom describing her tryst, her alleged tryst with Donald Trump back in 2006. Did she leave the stand with you thinking the jury needed to hear all that?
I'm not sure they needed to hear it all. I mean, I think that part of I think we're going to be discussing it for a while, and people are going to look back on that first day of testimony. And I kind of want to break them up because I think Tuesday was one day, and then we came back from a break on Thursday, and she was very strong on cross-examination. But on Tuesday, I think what was important about it is she did take jurors through all the nitty-gritty, and that was the story that Donald Trump was trying to keep out of the paper. That was the catch and kill scheme. So in one way, it was important that they understood it, but it may have gone too far. But I think it's important that they understand what he was trying to make sure didn't get published. And I don't think any of them are under any illusion about it now, about what happened. But on Thursday, she really came back, and she was really strong with Susan Necheles.
So she seemed less nervous.
She was less nervous, and she was very forceful. And I actually have got written down, if I can read it rather than paraphrasing it, just some of their exchanges, because I thought they were so good. Susan Necheles is cross-examining her, so Donald Trump's lawyer, and they are going back and forth.
She's going at her pretty hard.
And Stormy's not giving an inch. In one instance, Susan Necheles says, "But you, to this day, continue to make money to sell a story that you promised will put President Trump in jail, right?" And she says, "No." "Well, isn't it a fact that you're posting on social media how you're going to be instrumental in putting President Trump in jail?" "Show me where I said instrumental in putting Donald Trump in jail." And Susan Necheles couldn't produce the post. She produced something that didn't say that. It said something else. And Daniel says, "I don't see instrumental or jail there. You're putting words in my mouth." And those sort of exchanges, I really think when I look back at it, on a Saturday, that's what I remember about the week. I remember a very defiant Stormy Daniels, just giving as good as she got.
If you're remembering it, that's probably what stayed with these jurors over this weekend as they reflect as well.
Right. And I think it's interesting because I think maybe on Tuesday, there's going to be debate about whether that went too far. And I think when this case will go on appeal, I think that day is going to be memorialized on appeal, because I think that there's a feeling that the jury maybe heard too much. But I think on Thursday, in terms of just whatever stumbles the jury may have seen or may have felt was made, if they thought anything, she came back to it on Thursday really well.
So at one point, Stormy Daniels described details of the alleged one-night stand. And again, Trump's attorney, Susan Necheles, asked, "You made this all up?" Daniels responded, "No." Christy, how successful do you think she was at deflecting the defense attempts to portray her as an extortionist, essentially, who keeps changing her story?
I thought Daniels was at her best when Susan Necheles really attacked her for being a porn star, because Susan Necheles equated being a porn star with being a liar. And that just failed. At one point, she asked the question, "You have a lot of experience making up phony stories about sex." And Daniel said, "Wow, that's not how I would put it. The sex in the films actually is very real, just like what happened to me in that room." And it was such a moment. Susan Necheles also equated being a porn star with being a slut. That failed too. And I do think that line of cross really could have alienated the jury. I know it certainly alienated me, and there were 5 women on that jury who may not have been very comfortable with that line of cross. The one thing I think that Susan Necheles was successful at in the cross was really, driving home the point that Stormy Daniels claimed that she really wasn't motivated by money here, and that she really was motivated more to protect her family in selling the story. That didn't really come across very clearly. I will say I didn't really buy that. I thought she was motivated by money, but so what? So what? I can believe that she was motivated by money to sell her story, and that her story was real at the same time. So I didn't think the cross-examination was really that effective, and I thought she did very well on the whole.
And the fact that Donald Trump, who never wanted this story out there, as you pointed out, is sitting feet away from her, watching her tell this story. What was his demeanor like?
For most of the court proceeding, we can see him. Christy and I were actually sitting close to each other or next to each other during the testimony, and we can see him. For most of it, he's got his eyes closed. So that's one thing, and I think that that's significant because the court picks up on that. Jurors are looking at him. Of course, there's the most famous man in the world. He's a former U.S. president, and I think that that sends a message to the court. So I think that that was one thing. And at one point, he was actually muttering. He was getting upset about what she was saying. So I think
He was cursing at one point.
He was cursing. Yeah. And the court picks up on that. So I think that those are important things. Sometimes his demeanor, we make jokes about it, but it has an impact on the jurors.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.